Hi, Sheldon. You're live on the air with Joel Elkanah and Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. How you doing?
Good. You, Joel?
I'm doing great, Sheldon. I just want to thank you for, I know you're on a different time schedule, but hopping in the chat room every day, you put out some great questions for our guests and give our viewers your take on the market. But let's just go to the virtual advisor that you are. What kind of virtual advice are you giving today on the this down open?
Well, I don't put too much merit in it in what will be a down open likely today. I mean, it's what we're down 0.38% on the SPY, so I don't read too much into that. I think that it's completely normal at this stage of the game. I mean, if we were down something more than 1%, it would be a different story. But I personally would I welcome weakness at the open rather at the close. So
Oh, that's a good point. And could you just go into that?
yeah, sure. I mean, I've been advising to buy stocks. I've been buying stocks here for the last 2 weeks. I wouldn't say that the market has been overly bullish in terms of the volume action, but price has been pretty good for several stocks.
And what are some of those stocks that have caught your fancy?
We started position last week in Facebook. We've been in. We also started position last week in Baidu, BIDU. We position in a couple of chemical, HUN and CE. I saw you were talking about Joy this morning. We have a position in that as well.
What do you think
And
about? Let's just go to some of those individual issues here because
sure.
we talked about this Joy Global before. Did you play it ahead of the earnings?
No, I didn't.
And you got in. You
I
got in.
simply bought the breakout there. I like I like the industry group chart. Like I use MarketSmith primarily, and I really liked how the industry group chart was looking, and Cat was also looking well. So, in terms of putting the probabilities in your favor, I felt that this was a good opportunity. Also, I see it more as a turnaround situation after being in a decline for quite a while.
Okay. And what about the Facebook here? Were you looking at? I mean, there hasn't been many fundamentals out on it. I know that it had that resistance at the 64.50 level, and it finally took that out. Are you looking? Were you in ahead of that breakout at
Yeah,
64.50? Oh, good for you. And
yeah, I was in last week. I like how the chart looks. It's put in this kind of a drip down, what I call a cheat area, cup completion cheat. And I like one in the larger cap stocks. I like to get in a little bit earlier than the masses per se, which usually target a new high, 52 week or an all-time high. I like to get in a little bit earlier than that because a lot of times institutions are looking to dump at those levels. So if I can get in earlier, like in the case of Facebook, I will. You'll see also that Baidu was a similar situation, a similar type of chart.
okay, pulling that
You'll
up
see
here.
that also, coming out from there. Volume is picking up on that particular move out of another cheat area there as well. So,
So do you take you have profit targets on these, or is it just something that you'll just move your stop up?
well, for well, I would advise people, like for people that are maybe newer to trading, what I would say is in these trade areas, you take a pilot buy, meaning a half position. And then actually, if it goes up to that, let's say Baidu, for example, where you're at 189.34, if we consolidate a little there, I would add another portion on there. Otherwise, if it fails at that level, I would probably recommend taking profit. At this point, though, I'm going to see how it goes from here. If it gets up to that 189.34, consolidates constructively on low volume, or it might just break through. But I'm surely not going to take profits yet.
So you're looking for this thing to go back up to 189.34?
Yeah. At
Wow.
this point, it's not showing me any reason why I can't.
Okay. All right.
Same with Facebook. I don't see any reason why it can't.
What about these? I mean, so you don't. I mean, these two tops here at right around the 175, 176 level, or actually it was a double top 175, 45, and 65. You got above that level yesterday to 76.28. Boy, that was the impetus for a big sell-off. You wouldn't, yeah, I mean, you're just letting it ride here. You're not any, a big concern if it can't get back over 175 and a half the next day or two.
No, no, not.
Okay.
I'd have to watch the price action and the volume at this point. But I kind of like what I call a volume curve, and what I like about Baidu here is it kind of moves sideways until this recent kind of like drift lower, and the volume was incredibly low, meaning that there was no sellers. And then you had to pull back into the 200-day, and now you've had on 2 days coming into new, let's say, new price highs in the short-term perspective.
Uh-huh.
You've had volume jump on both days above the 50-day average. So that's positive for me. That means there is demand, and when there's zero volume as it is coming or drifting lower, that means there's no sellers. So I see that volume footprint as being bullish at this point.
Okay. I'm not trying to talk you into anything. I'm just trying to.
No, you couldn't do it if you wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's what.
At
That's
least
what.
as it comes to stocks, maybe something else.
How about horses? No, no. Let's. All right. So let's take a look at a couple other. I mean, the Twitter made a nice move with Facebook yesterday. They seem to move pretty well together. You have any interest in Twitter?
No, that is completely, another, I guess as the English say, kettle of fish. That's something I wouldn't touch.
Okay.
Based on my methodology. It's in a downtrend. It looks like it's getting some demand off the lows, but I'd have to see it get above the 50, consolidate, even see the 50-day flatten at least before I would entertain some kind of trade in that. I personally think really, you got to be looking at the semiconductors right now. I think
Okay.
that that's really where the leadership is.
Could you give us some of those stocks you're looking at?
Well, yeah, sure. We have I have a trade on in CAVM. Had that on for a while.
CAVN. Okay.
Yeah,
A little slow bringing this up here. And what's the name of that stock?
Cavium. Let me just get the name.
Who cares?
Cavium Inc.
Who cares? As long as it's going up, right? I'm having a little
I,
CAV.
the names of stocks. I'm more of a symbol guy. So
Oh wow, that thing's had a nice move here. You looking at taking any profits, or you just letting it?
no,
No,
not at all.
let it
I
run,
like
baby.
how it's in all-time highs now. You'll see the last week it broke out the previous week, like 2 weeks ago, and then it last week it did what I call a bullish outside week, and that also is a very bullish thing, and I think that this could continually could go up a lot more from here. So
Okay, I got to ask you about Apple here with the split. What's so
yeah,
funny?
fire away.
What's so
Huh?
funny? Why is that so funny? People always ask
I
you.
don't know. I get so many questions about Apple at, you know, down in Chile, there's very few stocks that sort of circulate across the masses, and Apple is one of them. So fire away.
So, what are you telling the masses? I was looking at, perhaps maybe a post-split hangover. That did happen. Made a new fresh high for the move at 95.05. Showing a little weakness today, off not much weakness relative to the market. Do you have any parameters for Apple that our traders should follow?
Well, I think you guys asked me this a while about Apple, and to be honest, I never took a position in it. I should have taken a position in it because it did have a nice pattern there as it came off in mid-April there. Now, in terms of the way I approach and my methodology, there's not a trade for me now. It's not a high probability situation for me. However, if it comes up to the all-time high there, you have to see how it trades around there and then go from there in terms of my methodology. But at this point, I would stick with it and see if you own it, stick with it and see how it trades up at the all-time high and then go from that, sort of let price dictate your decision.
Okay, and now we got one symbol coming out of the chat room here, AMBA here, and Am Amberella here. I haven't heard of this stock. If you could just give us a quick technical look at it, we'd appreciate it. Then we'll let you go and
Sure.
trade that
It's
open.
actually a stock on my on it's on my secondary watch list right now, I would
Really?
say.
Okay, tell us
Uh,
about it.
yeah, it could be an inverse head and shoulders here. I do like the volume that I see coming back above the 200-day, 50-day, all the key daily moving averages, the 10-day, the 20-day, etc. I think if it can consolidate a couple more days, I think that it definitely is actionable from here. I would go with a pilot buy in this, but I do like the semiconductor fabless industry group in particular. I did tweet about it on the weekend. That's where you have CAVM is in. Today, Rambus, RMBS is actually
Yep.
gapping out. That was a stock I wanted to get my hands on today, also in the fabless space. But I definitely be looking, above 20, it looks like 27-ish.
Yeah, that's I
I
just
would initiate a pilot buy. I don't, it's a rather constructive pattern developing there.
so you'd buy it before you got on an airplane?
Got an airplane.
Well, you said a pilot buy.
Pilot. That's a half position. I call it a
Okay,
pilot buy
okay.
right
I didn't know.
there.
I
Yeah.
didn't get to the. Okay, all right. Well, we'll let we'll let you get.
You pulling the humor today on me, Joel, eh?
Yeah, yeah. We got to mix things up.
Trying to, at least.
Oh, there's Joe. Joe's
Well, that
back.
one flew right over my head, sort of.
Joe's back in the news desk, so it's be one fun day over here. But Sheldon, thanks a lot for coming in. Once again, thanks a lot for coming in the chat room, putting those questions in. We love your input on the market, and hopefully we can have you back on again soon.
I appreciate that. Take care, Joel.